English we call them lodges. They lived in communities which consisted of master architects, master masons, craftsmen, and apprentices. They gave the entire services. If you wanted a castle constructed, you just called one person. He came, he brought the architect, he brought the mason, he brought the workman, he did everything. So one person was basically in charge of one group. This meant that for the group to remain cohesive, there had to be a very strict code of conduct, honesty, integrity, morality, religious beliefs, and so on. Otherwise, it would break down any structure. If it does not have very tight discipline, it will collapse. Now, through the ages, their secrets of cutting, polishing, finishing the stone, the senior workmen handed down to their juniors and to understudies who were later expected to progress, but their techniques remained within the group. They would not pass or teach them to anybody from outside their specific group. This led to a very tight-knit group where the secrets were controlled by just that particular group, and every group, every community had their signs, had their symbols, had their ways of greeting each other. And there may have been a lot of communities. There must have been, because there are so many buildings and so many sites. Life was tough, a lot of hard work was involved, but work was plentiful. And because of the structure of their society, the Masons enjoyed it. Now, others outside the group noticed the happiness and unity of these groups of Masons and wanted to become part of these groups, even though they were not actually stone masons. These groups were only masons and associated families. As time passed, a few affluent and influential men were allowed to join these groups out of necessity, I suppose. It is always good to have somebody of affluence and influence within your group. Can always be a useful feature. They were allowed to join these groups, but not as operative masons. They could not join as operative masons. They were not actual stone masons. So they were allowed to join as speculative masons. Soon there were so many of these speculative masons that they formed their own lodges and framed their own rules and regulations to run their lodges in the style of the operative masons. Now they wanted to maintain that style, that honesty, that integrity, which the original stone masons had. By about 1700, from which time we have written records of Freemasonry, there were enough of these lodges to be organized under umbrella bodies. So the umbrella bodies got together and formed what is today called the United Grand Lodge of England in 1770. Now, among the superb edifices built by the operative masons was the magnificent temple of King Solomon in Jerusalem. This was built many centuries ago to honor the glory of God. It is reputed to have been the most perfect structure ever created. Therefore, the temple was adopted by speculative masons as their symbol. Hence, in Masonic buildings, separate rooms are set aside as temples. It is in these temples that meetings take place. This is called the Masonic temple. Now, Worshipful Brother Venkat, if we can start with the slides. This is how Freemasonry started basically, and this is what a Freemason's temple is. Now we will start with the first slide. I have already explained to you what Freemasonry is and why a temple is called a temple. Now this is the Freemasons. This is a picture of the Freemasons Hall. The foundation stone was laid for this in 1897, so it is a 123-year-old building on June the 5th. It is a grade 2 heritage structure. All Freemasons are very proud of this building. We take great trouble to maintain it. As a matter of fact, you can see that we started the painting. A few columns are painted already, but because of the lockdown, we had to stop work. We will take it up once the lockdown is lifted. Now, in Masonic tradition, also in Indian Vastu, each building, when it is started, the first stone or the cornerstone is laid in the northeast corner of the building. Venkat, can we have this is the cornerstone of the Freemasons Hall. It was laid in 1897 by William Baron Sandhurst, who was then the governor of Bombay, and also in Masonic terms, the district Grand Master of the District of Bombay. This is still there in the corner. We take great care to preserve it. We have encased it, we have enclosed it in glass, and we keep a light on there permanently so it is visible. It's sunk a little bit. This is not sunk. The area around it has gone up a little bit, but it is still very visible and it is very well taken care of. It is there to see on any day. Next slide, please. Now, this is the entrance to the building. Taken from the staircase. This is the entrance, the foyer, where as soon as you climb up the stairs, you enter this foyer. Next, please. The tiles here are Belgian, if you notice, and everything is pretty much what it was when it was constructed. Now, this is the dining hall, the Framji Kawasji dining hall. It is the formal dining room where we can seat about 120. Now, seating 120 people in one place, as you will understand, is a difficult proposition, but we manage it comfortably. We use this for our formal functions. And what you see all along the walls are the pictures of past dignitaries of Freemasonry. Upstairs over there, right there, here, is a gallery where in the olden days, a band used to play to entertain the Masons while they were having their meals. Next, please. Venkat, next slide, please. Now, this is a picture of the dining room being prepared with the serving staff, and this is when we have a full sit-down meal at full capacity. We can comfortably, like I said, seat 120 people. Next, please. Now, we are back in the foyer, and this on the left, on the extreme left, is the staircase, which will take us to the temple. This is a picture of the staircase. All three are pictures of the staircase, actually. And if you notice, the beautifully filigreed and very nice work has been done on them. And we have recently got them painted to make them look even better. These take us up to the second floor, where the temple is. A few more pictures of the fine work on the balustrades and the banisters. Next, please. Again, a few more pictures of the balustrade. Now we have reached the second floor. This is where the temple is. This is the second floor, and the second picture at the bottom. This is where a delegation is lining up to enter into the temple. These are all officials of the District of Bombay. There is a very big meeting being conducted inside, a major meeting. So all of them are lining up to get inside the temple. Next, please. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the temple. The temple that you see here is aligned east to west. Mostly all places of worship are aligned east-west to symbolize the rising and setting of the sun. Now, if you will look upstairs, you will see the blue ceiling, which signifies the sky, and on it are the sun, moon, and the stars, which denotes that Freemasonry is universal. Now, below the sun, it is not too clear just now. I will show you a clearer picture of it later. There is a chain on which is suspended the word, the letter G. This denotes God. Straight in front of you is the chair in the east, which is the master's chair. And on top, behind him, right on top, what you see, I will show you a picture a little later, clearer and closer picture, is what we call the all-seeing eye. This also denotes God. Now, Freemasons do not believe in religion, but we do believe that there is a higher authority which controls things, and all Freemasons, in order to join, have to have a belief in a higher authority. We do not insist on a God of any religion. It is just one higher authority whom we call the great architect of the universe. Architect because we are descended from Masons, and architecture and Masonry go together. At the bottom on the floor is the checkerboard. This denotes the highs and lows of life, the black and white, the good and evil, and tells us that behind every dark deed, there is a good waiting to happen, and behind every good, again, there is darkness. So you have to learn to watch yourself and control things. Next, please. This is a picture of the temple from the other side. Now, if you notice, in the east, right on top over here, this is the master's chair. Over here, this is the next senior officer in the lodge. This is called the senior warden. He sits in the west because the master sits in the east to open the lodge, symbolizing the sun which rises in the east to open the day. The senior warden sits in the west to close the lodge, symbolizing the setting of the sun. At the right of the picture, in the south, according to the temple direction, sits the junior warden, the second most important assistant of the master. His job, where the mouse is, his job is to control the brethren. He allots them work, he calls them from work, he sends them to work, and another very important duty of his is to see that anybody seeking entrance into the temple is properly qualified to enter. He is also the ostensible steward of the lodge and generally in charge of all catering arrangements. On the opposite side over here is the secretary's table. Here, in this picture over here. This on the right, I beg your pardon, this on the right here is a view from the east facing the west. This is the worshipful master's, as we call it. This is the worshipful master's pedestal, and this picture is from behind his seat. It gives a precise and clear picture of how the lodge is placed. Next, please. This is a picture of the worshipful master's pedestal, the master's pedestal. Within the temple, the master sits on his pedestal, and on his pedestal are placed books of various religions. The two here are Quran Sharif and the Holy Bible. but books of all religions are placed here because we, like I said, believe in no religion. And we welcome all brethren, regardless of their religion, their caste, or their creed. And these books are placed here to signify that. Next, please. Now, this is a picture of the lodge. In the center is the worshipful master in the Eastern chair, as it's called. This is called the Eastern chair, or the chair of King Solomon. And the master of the lodge is the representative of King Solomon, because he is expected to mete out justice, fairness, and equality to all the brethren, to all the members of his lodge. So the master with all his officers in full regalia present there. The small picture, the inset, is a close-up of a master. What he wears around his neck is called a collar. What he wears around his waist is called an apron, and on his arms are the cuffs, or sometimes called gauntlets, whatever cuffs they are. Next, please. This is a close-up picture of the senior warden. The senior warden is the next in command to the master, and his job is to see that the lodge is closed by the master's command. Now, he is placed in the west because he has to close the lodge. The column on his table is Doric in style. There are three styles: Ionic, Doric, and Corinthian. The senior warden's column is Doric. Next, please. If you are having any trouble and would like to read the entire, ladies and gentlemen, please put a message. We'll go slower. Is that, do we have any messages? Okay. This is the senior warden. Next, please. This is the junior warden, the third main officer of the lodge, along with the master and the senior warden. He sits in the south of the lodge. As I told you, I showed you his seat in the south of the lodge, to the left and a little bit below the master's pedestal. His responsibility is to see that no non-Masons come into the lodge, and the catering facilities for the banquet. His job is to assist the two senior officers in the running and ruling of the lodge. Next, please. Jay Prakash Bhatia says, please read full. Now I can go a little slow if you like, or you can give you some time to read it yourself. Would you like that? Please send a message. Okay, so we'll hold the slides a little longer after I'm done talking, and you can read. This is the secretary's table. Now, for our lodge, the secretary, like he said earlier, is the Silvery Dawn Lodge. The secretary is Worshipful Brother Venkatraman. Now, like in any organization, the secretary is the administrative backbone. His job is to run the lodge smoothly, to liaise with the district Grand Lodge members, and to see that the lodge runs in accordance with the bylaws and the laws of the district. He is generally a very senior member of the lodge, and normally somebody who has been a master in the past. And unlike other posts in the lodge, the secretary's post is not changed from year to year in order to maintain continuity and for things to run smoothly, regardless of who the master or who the wardens are. The secretary is normally for a long term, and he's the hardest working guy, like I said. This, if you remember, I showed you over here. This is vertical, so you can't see it. This is what it is like. This is the G, which symbolizes God. Now, they say that God is formed from the Hebrew words Gomer or Dabar, which combined mean wisdom, strength, and beauty. G-O-D. So, the point of having this G suspended from the ceiling is that He is with us at all times, and we must remember Him in whatever we do, because He is in our midst always. This, like I showed you earlier, is the mosaic pavement, which symbolizes day and night, dark and light, and so on. It's just a picture of the mosaic, a close picture of the mosaic. Over there in the background, you can again see the all-seeing eye. This is a close-up of the all-seeing eye. This is something that I showed you in one of the earlier pictures. This is behind the Worshipful Master's chair and on top of the ceiling. Now this tells us that a power which is above us all is observing us and recording everything that we do. And therefore, we should be honest and upright in all our actions and words. This is one of the 3 surviving pipe organs which are actually working in Bombay city. We take great pride in this. We take great trouble to maintain it, and we use it regularly on ceremonial occasions. If you remember, I showed you the apron that the master was wearing on his waist. This is the apron. There are 3 degrees in Freemasonry. This is the senior most of those. This is the Master Mason. This is the apron of the Master Mason with 3 rosettes. Over here, 1, 2, 3 rosettes and 2 tassels. Next, please. We finished with the Master Masons. Before the Master Mason, junior to the Master Mason, is the fellow craftsman. This is the apron of the fellow craftsman. If you notice, there are only 2 rosettes here, which means his is still a work in progress, and he has to progress further in order to get a Master Mason's apron, which will give him the 3rd rosette over here and those tassels here. The fellow craft is the 2nd degree. And before you become a fellow craft and on initiation, you are what is called an entered apprentice. This is the apron of the entered apprentice. He has no rosettes, if you notice. Now, originally in the olden times, this used to be made of lamb skin. But now you can make it either of canvas or of silk or cloth or any preferred material. Now, he has no rosettes. Therefore, it signifies that his is a body where the divine spark has not yet been lit. He has to go to make further progress to get to the next degree, which is the fellow crafts, and then the Master Masons. Now these are ashlars, ladies and gentlemen. On the bottom is a rough ashlar, on the top is a smooth ashlar. Ashlars are perfect stones. They are generally used for lining facades of buildings. A rough ashlar signifies an unformed mason. He is a mason, but he is raw. He still has a lot to do and he still has a lot to learn and he has a long way to go. Therefore, he is still rough. And after due process and trial, when he goes through the degrees, he becomes what is called a polished mason, and he is perfect in all senses. Smooth, he is well polished. That, ladies and gentlemen, are the ashlars. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are done with the open house. Now, if any of you has any questions, we'll throw the floor open. We are here for trying to answer your questions if we can. Thank you.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Nitin.
Yeah. So that was a very beautiful presentation. I really liked each and every part of it. So, yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, like you stated that it originated from Israel, right? And all these masons and all. Okay.
No. Freemasonry didn't originate from Israel.
Sorry. That it was a little. I couldn't hear properly. Your voice was keep on getting disturbed.
No,
I wanted to clarify. Where did it originate from? Like the stonemasons?
Freemasonry originated, I mean, in prehistory in Europe, but
Okay,
the first historical records are from England.
Okay. So the voice
300
was
years ago. 300 years ago. It is.
Okay.
It is one of the few bodies surviving with 300 years of written history, written records of the past 300 years.
So only one single source, like that's the only place it started at?
That is where Masonry started, from Masons, therefore Freemasons.
Okay.
Because we are not actual Masons, we are speculative, we are free.
Great. So how does one get into this?
You're from Hyderabad, Nitin.
Yes.
There is a lodge called St. John's. Are you from Hyderabad or Secunderabad?
Hyderabad, it is the same city, yeah.
Yeah. So in Secunderabad, there is St. John's. And there's another lodge in Hyderabad, I forget the name. Golconda.
Gosha Mahal.
Near Golconda. So you can go and join the local secretary there. And you can ask him, and then they will have an interview process. And then they will then decide whether to take you or not.
Okay, so I can just go directly, or do I need any?
You can go to the website of District Grand Lodge of Madras, because Hyderabad comes under District Grand Lodge of Madras, and you will find the details of the secretary of their lodge.
Sir, I can direct him to one of my known masons to me, Chandan Lohia.
Okay.
He's a member of 549.
Okay.
If you get in touch with me, I'll direct you to Chandan Lohia, and he will take the rest of the things he will do.
Okay, sir. Suresh, sir. Yeah, I'll message you.
Thank you. Thank you. You can get in touch with me afterwards.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a question. Since I am from North Mumbai, and I have spoken with Mr. Venkatraman before, long back, but then he said that I had to be 21 years of age to join, so I had to just wait for it. If I have to join Freemasonry or to become a speculative Mason, as Mr. Shastri said, who should I contact?
Yeah, you spoke to me. If you have spoken to Venkatraman, I am Venkatraman. And you may have spoken to me. You may not have been 21 years of age at that time. So that is what I must have told.
No, I was not. But actually, I used to work in Wallace Street, which is just opposite the Grand Lodge. And I have seen many activities happening. And many times during rains, we have come to the lodge to take refuge under the under the porch, because the watchman was kind enough to give us the shelter, because the rain I think August 2018 were the floods or something, and we had stood there and was very curious to go inside and see what is happening, and if I could get some information on the books. Or I was just curious because I used to see lights shining and some people are going, and then there was a 400-year-old ceremony.
If you go to the District Grand Lodge of Bombay site, just Google dglbombay.org. There is an FAQ document there, on Freemasonry.
You have sent me the FAQ, and I have read it. I have read it.
So if you read that is what we tell everybody to read it. And if you are 21 years of age and if you think you are this, then call me back. I mean, my email is obviously with you.
Yes.
And then we can take it forward.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Suraj. Thank you.
Thank you.
What are you doing now?
I'm in my final year law.
Where?
It's a sister college of KC in my area in Ulhasnagar.
Okay. Good. Thanks. Most certainly. There is a question from Vinamster, which I of course replied on text. But where was the lodge meeting before in Bombay before this? We just did a talk on very coincidentally we did a talk on Friday about the history of the Freemasons Hall before Freemasons Hall was there. So where were lodges meeting? They met in about 10, 11 places, different places from about 1822, which is when the first record is there, and they met in several places. The last place they met was in Baikala, a place called Adelphi Hotel, which they later on became Polonji Hotel, and later on I believe it became a school called the Orphanage School, Scottish Orphanage School, and then it got renamed and moved as Bombay Scottish Orphanage to Mahim. So that is where the lodges met. They met in about 10 places all over the town. Okay, so that's the answer, Vinamster. John is asking a question: is Masonry pantheistic in approach? View that universe and God are identical? There is no ascribation. We don't ascribe the universe as God. We say that God is an individual. We try to give him more of a defined form, in the sense that he's an architect and he's above us and he observes us. So we think of him as a person rather than as nature, or as the universe. So in that way, it is not what you are implying. There's a question from Isa Sheikh. Interior of temple is more like logo on the right corner. Is there a link? I'm not sure what you meant. I mean, I don't know which interior and which right corner. So if you can just, you're unmuted, so if you can just voice your question better, that would be better.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
So while showing the PPT, there was a logo on the right corner in the PPT itself.
Okay.
So it was like a checkered plate floor, and there was an eye on the logo, which totally signifies the interior of a temple, which the picture has been shown.
Okay.
So was there a link between them?
Which PPT are you saying?
Venkatraman, sir. This is, I think, the presentation which you were sharing on the right-hand side, Silvery Dawn logo.
Yes.
Okay,
Your
lodge's
banner.
Correct. So 1 minute, and let me just. Are you referring to the one on the bottom right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
So which is the element in this that you are referring? This is the logo of the Lord Silvery Dawn. So which is the element you are referring to here?
So when sir was explaining about the interior of a temple on the second floor, he was telling about the checkered plate floor, and then there is an eye behind, and there is this rising sun and the 2 Corinthian columns. So does this logo signifies the similar interior?
Yes, this logo tries to take all the visual elements of what Freemasonry is, and therefore the lodge logo has been made. There's a checkered mosaic pavement down. There is a rising sun to show it is a silvery dawn, which we are all hoping after the coronavirus. The silvery dawn is an all-seeing eye. So this is the whole design. This logo has taken these elements. There are the 2 pillars, the celestial and the terrestrial, and that is how this logo has been kind of made out of. It's a composite of different visual elements that have a Masonic connection.
And so my second question was: is there an architect or a building which do have a Masonic influence in Bombay?
Which building has a Masonic influence in Bombay? Many buildings have got Masonic influence in Bombay. In fact, today evening's talk, Square Steps, is all about that. We are taking people through a virtual walk of South Bombay and showing how different founding fathers of our city were Freemasons and how they have a Masonic connection.
So how to join that thing?
You'll have to register. It's an online form. There is a charitable donation of 1,000 rupees.
Okay.
And if you search on insider.in, you will find the link.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're on the insider.in platform, and you can find the link from there.
Thank you, sir.
So there we bring out Firozshah Mehta, Dadabhai Naoroji, Jamshedji Tata, and so many others who are all Masons, and how they influence the building of the city and the growth of the city.
Venkatraman sir.
Yes.
We
Yes,
have
Dinesh,
some of the brethren from outside the country. Maybe we can actually ask them to find out if what is the difference or what is the similarity between our Freemasons hall and theirs.
We don't want to go into that technical discussion in this presentation.
Okay.
We want to keep it simple and straightforward. Vinamster, I don't know what's your correct name, but I believe there was a lodge earlier located in Moscow. Yes, there were 3 lodges located in Moscow. There is something known as the Babula Tank, which was opposite the JJ Hospital, and there was a Masonic hall there. And then behind the JJ Hospital on the lane, there was a Masonic hall. There was one in the first floor bungalow of of a bungalow. So there were 3 locations in Moscow where there were Masonic halls before we came here. Swami, thank you for providing Nitin with the contact details of Chandan Lohia, and thank you for sharing your number also. Yes, I am seeing that somewhere near JJ Hospital, yes, there were 3 places. There was also a large property in Bellasys Road. There was a Freemasons hall in Gavalia Tank. But there were different lodges and different there's a bodies they were putting together. Then ultimately the governor of Bombay, Lord Sandhurst, we only remember him today for Sandhurst Road Station. But yeah, he was the governor and he was a Freemason. And he decided that there should be one Freemasons hall. And that is how this hall was, jointly built. And the foundation stone laid about 123 years back.
I have a question. I have another question.
Sure.
Why is the all-seeing eye seem like it's the left eye? Is there any significance to it, or is it just an optical illusion?
This debate has been there from about 200-300 years, and there are Masons who feel it is a right eye, and there are Masons who feel that it is a left eye, and there are Masons who think that it is a left eye looking out and the left eye looking in. So it's just an optical illusion, and you can think of any eye. But what is important is that the symbolism of the eye is taken and basically whatever you do, you must know that there is somebody who's
watching over you.
Correct. Christopher is asking why Freemasonry uses square and compasses as their symbol. So I will just show. So this symbol on the bottom left is the, or what you can see on our virtual background behind. The blue color circle is square and compass. So the bottom is supposed to be a compass, and the top is supposed to bottom is supposed to be a square, and the top is supposed to be a compass. So the compass draws a circle, and Freemasonry tells you that you must remain within the circle of your wants. If you try to become too greedy, if you try to reach out to too many things, and if you try to step out of your bounds, then you will not. It's not beneficial to you. It will be detrimental. The square measures right angles, and Freemasonry tells you that you must always be square in your conduct, which means that you should always be proper in your conduct. So you should remain within your wants. You should not try to do too many things, to be too greedy, reach out too much. And the square says that whatever you do in life, you must be square in your conduct, be upright, do the correct things, practice every social and moral virtue, and that is what the square implies. So the purpose of the square and the compass is to tell all Masons that this is who we are, this is what we do. We remain within our bounds, and we are always upright in our intentions, etc. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for the nice words. Thank you.
Yeah.
Therefore,
So I have a
is
question.
there a directory of All India directory of 1 minute with address of temples? Unfortunately, there is no All India directory. Bhatia, there is no All India directory of this. Okay. Go ahead, Nitin.
Yeah. So, which is like the most important day for this community? Like, is there any founding day or?
No.
Is there any? Okay.
No, because there are so many days. There is nothing
Okay.
like a day.
Any event? Okay.
There's nothing like that. Every district, every lodge will have its own installation meeting. So within the lodge, when the committee changes, that is the most important day for the lodge. In the district, there is an annual communication, which is an annual meeting. So that is
Okay.
the important day for the district. In London, there is a meeting known as the annual investiture, where everybody gets ranks and the new,
Yeah.
change of guard happens. So the annual investiture is important for them. Then there
Okay.
are other meetings like, our lodge is completing 60 years this year. So whenever we have that, whenever things open and whenever we have that, that will be an important meeting for us. The United Grand Lodge of England completed 300 years. So that was an important meeting. So there's no one meeting for everybody.
Okay.
There is a different important meeting.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. So, on the contrary to how popular this whole Freemasonry is it true that it's very indeed a secret society and you need to be?
Yeah, we are a secret society.
Yeah.
We are not a secret society. We are a society with secrets, but
Okay.
we are not a secret society. So there is a difference in the language.
Yeah.
If you Google Freemasonry, you will find Hyderabad. I mean, the number that has been shared would be, for anybody with Google and a few search terms, you can find us. Our hall
Yeah.
is there. We write Freemasons Hall. We do open houses like this for the last 5 years. So we are not a secret society in the sense that we want to hide our
Identity.
existence. Okay.
Okay.
But are we a society with secrets? Yes, obviously we are a society with secrets. If you went to Godrej and said, hey, give me the formula for Godrej soaps, will they give you the soap? Will you ask to Coke and say, give me the formula for Coke? Will Coke give you? Yeah,
No,
Coke
no.
is the organization with its own secrets. So we
Okay.
have our own secrets, but we're not a secret society.
Okay.
If you went to Godrej and said, show me your board meeting minutes, I want to see, they get lost. Who are you to see? It's our business. So it's like
Okay.
that. The outsiders can't come in and view anything and everything of everybody. If somebody came to your house, you would not take him to your bedroom. You would
True,
say,
true,
no,
true.
he stays in the living room. So it's a bit like that.
Got it. Thank you.
If I may add, Venkat sir,
Yes.
it is more like you have to be eligible for, you can say, getting that particular secret or getting that particular message from Freemasonry, or like you have to go to the certain degree before you get that message, understand that message. It is like you shouldn't get that particular Game of Thrones spoiler before you earn that privilege of earning that degree or whatever.
Well, let me put it in a different way. If I did a movie review, then I would put a spoiler alert.
Yeah, like that only.
So the secret is a bit like that. You come into an initiation ceremony, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of things that go on. And if you were disclosure about what the entire ceremony is about, then it's a spoiler alert. So most of the secrets are like spoiler alerts in normal terms.
Yeah, it is like that.
Yeah.
It's like that. So,
Thank you, Rishita. How are you enjoying your masonry?
wonderful.
Good, thank you. Which lodge are you in? Leslie Wilson, right?
I'm in General Williams, Pune.
General Wilson, okay. Good, thank you. If there are no other questions, we can. I would like to thank Bimal. I would like to thank all of you all. If there are any questions, let me see any hands going up. Otherwise, I think we are done. We are well within time. Bimal, do you want to add anything more?
No, it was very nice. It's been a very fine audience. They've been very informative and they've asked probing questions. It was a pleasure being here with them and with you. Thank you very much as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Have
for
a great
taking
day.
this time of the day. Thank you for coming and asking questions. Thank you for being a nice audience. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a nice day, everybody. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Best wishes.
Bye.